Hello, everybody. My name is Charlotte Alea, and I'm going to kick off this new video series that I'm starting with a declaration of messiness. Okay, so there's going to be so much mess in this video series, and you're going to love it. And that's what this video is all about today, this kickoff video. It is about giving ourselves the permission to get really freaking messy and to be messy. Emotions are not neat and orderly. And so coming into an honest relationship with our emotions means allowing ourselves to be wonderfully imperfect. So I did want to put this in a context and tell you all a little bit about my last 48 hours. Even 24 hours, actually. So yesterday morning, I started off the day feeling great. I've been doing a lot of abundance work, internal abundance work, breathing in abundance. It's something I'm really working on this year. And creating that sense of abundance within me with the feelings I'm feeling, that I'm calling in, with the thoughts I'm creating. And so I've been actually feeling awesome this week with all this abundance work, right? Yesterday morning, I draw a card for myself personally every morning. As you know, I do readings for my community on Instagram and Facebook too. But for myself, I always draw one personal card for myself. And that card that I drew was Five of Cups. And despite how beautiful this particular Five of Cups is, I mean, it has a freaking unicorn on it. This is the card from Mary L. Tarot. I saw this card and I was like, Five of Cups? You know, because Five of Cups, if you don't know, tarot often represents sadness, grief, loss, just emotional conflict, basically. And so despite the beauty and, the Mary L. Tarot really brings out the beauty, the beautiful elements of this card, I saw it and I was like, no, I'm feeling good. I don't know what, Tarot, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not how I'm feeling this morning. Right? So already a sign, since I was in such denial of it, so already a sign that, oh yeah, no, it's just lurking there right beneath the surface. So I went about my day. I'm still feeling great, and I took a little break in the afternoon to do some of my abundance meditation, feeling great, came back inside, and then all of a sudden, it's like something parted from that meditation, and it was like, boom, I feel like shit. I felt disappointed in myself, I felt sad, I felt disconnected, all of these emotions that I had been inadvertently, didn't even realize I was pushing away because I was in this mindset of so wanting to embody those positive feelings of the abundance I'm calling into my life, right? Those affirmations. And I stumbled into my own, not my own trap, that's not the way to say it, but into my own mantra, actually, because something that I firmly believe, and I talk about a lot, is the fact that affirmations by themselves just don't work. They just don't work, because an affirmation is addressing just the surface level. And so when you give a positive affirmation to yourself, that's great. Affirmations are wonderful, but you're not actually, an affirmation isn't actually pushing out the negative thoughts and replacing them with positive thoughts. Those negative thoughts, they've got some deep roots, people. Deep roots. And so guess what? If you shut the door on those negative thoughts, or if you close them out, you're actually not pushing them out. What you're doing is you're pushing them under. And so all the emotions tied to those difficult thoughts, I don't even like to call them negative thoughts, because that's just demonizing them, then just get pushed deep below the surface. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video is how powerful the emotions that we deny ourselves have in our lives, have on our day-to-day living. They impact us in huge ways. And I can go back to that issue that I was experiencing yesterday, of that Five of Cups coming through and telling me like, oh, you're actually, there's some emotions that you're denying yourself. I can take that back almost a week to last weekend. I attended the Women's March here in Los Angeles, and it was an amazing, beautiful experience. And yet I kept seeing this sign, and it was one of the signs, I don't know what organization put it out, but there's several similar signs with similar artwork, and it had a picture of a little girl on it, and the words, "Women are perfect." And this sign was pissing the hell out of me. It's like, women are perfect? What? Like, aren't we trying to get away from that? Isn't that black and white thinking what got us into this in the first place? And it was just really kind of firing me up. I had a lovely experience that weekend, but that sign just continued to irk me for days and days and days. I almost went on a Facebook rant about it, and I didn't. And I was kind of making it all about the political, right? That how women, the reality is that women are not perfect, and it is our belief that we need to be perfect, which kind of got us into this mess. Women are perfect, and so we have to act perfectly, we have to do everything perfectly, instead of just allowing ourselves to be the messy people that we are, and loving ourselves for being the messy people we are, just as men are allowed to in this society, right? Okay, so totally politicizing it. And then it wasn't until yesterday, when this all kind of started coming to the surface, that I realized, oh, okay, that was actually a personal issue that I was struggling with too. That I was feeling like I needed to be perfect. And they can just, that feeling is so, that belief is so strong, it seeps into us. We still do not allow ourselves to be the messy, emotional people that we are. And so I was denying my own messiness in that moment. And so I was kind of pushing it out and seeing it as only in this political context. So how do we allow ourselves to get a bit messy? And why do we want to do this? So we start by not seeing our negative thoughts as things that we need to get rid of, and instead seeing them as parts of ourselves that we need to accept and integrate. So I don't even like this idea of a negative thought or about clearing away the blocks, right? Because it's the visualization that comes through is something that you're trying to push out instead of something that you're trying to kind of move through. It demonizes it. Can we please stop seeing these different messier aspects of our emotions and ourselves as demons, as things that we need to get rid of, because we can't get rid of them. And what ends up happening is they end up going in the closet. They end up hiding underneath the bed, going deep into the shadows. And then we begin, what happens is those demons that we like to call them begin to transform into projections, right? And so now we're not seeing it as inside us, we're seeing it actually external to us. Or they like to transform into shame, awful, disabling shame. Can we please stop seeing anger as a bad emotion, as something we need to get rid of, that we need to deny? Anger is not aggression. Anger is not violence. Anger is a healthy emotion that tells us when we've been disrespected. That's just one example. So instead of seeing these blocks, these mental blocks, these negative thoughts, instead of seeing them and demonizing them and painting this kind of awful picture of them, can we see them instead with the face of our inner child who's scared, who needs us to listen? So last night, I had a dream where I was following this woman around who was stealing my keys from me, my car keys from me, and she was telling me to follow her because she had something she wanted to show me. I was trying to get a drink. I was trying to get this glass of wine at a bar, and for some reason, I had started to become friends with this woman who was clearly taking advantage of me. And she was like, no, follow me. I have your car, and I have some liquor in the trunk. We can drink that instead. And I was thinking in my head, well, I don't want that. But I was following her anyway. And I followed her to my car. And I opened the trunk of the car. And right as I was doing that, I realized there wasn't anything in the trunk. And it was just some kind of messy towels and junk you keep on your trunk. And just then I realized, oh, she's going to try to push me in. She's going to try to push me in the trunk of my car and close it. And I turned around, and she was crawling behind me and was about to leap on me and push me into the trunk of the car. Whew, I woke up and I was like, that's frightening. So cars, keys, giving my, like focusing my center of control outside of myself, giving away my power. Okay, so these are all kind of things that I immediately tapped into the symbols that were coming through. As I most often do with powerful dreams, I drew some cards on it. And I asked my dream, why was I so willing to follow this woman when I knew that she was no good? And guess what card I pulled for that? This beautiful card. Oops, you can't really see it. Three of Cups. Guess what Three of Cups is about? It's about connection. It's about community. It's about acceptance. The reason why what was trying to come through, rather, through that grief that I was feeling, that sadness I was feeling yesterday, was a lack of connection. That I was needing to feel acceptance from others, and that's a perfectly valid, important need. And so we need to consider that these difficult emotions, these ways that make us feel really messy when we don't want to feel messy, these things that we're actually trying to get rid of, actually are carrying really important and valid emotional needs that we need to listen to. Because until we listen to them, we're going to just continue to stay in denial of ourselves, in denial of our emotional needs, right? So these things that we call mental blocks, and it's something that gets circulated around a lot, is this idea that they keep us safe, right? They keep us small, they keep us safe. And that's very true. But also, they have a need to be safe. And so we need to listen to that need to be safe. And my inner child, my vulnerabilities, was saying, I feel safe when I have this need, when I have this need met, when I feel validated, when I feel accepted, that is how I feel connected to other people. So it might be misguided, right? So the way that my inner child was trying to get that need met by externalizing it, by giving away her power, that's misguided. But the need itself at the center of that wasn't misguided. That's really important. It's important to feel accepted. It's important to feel connected. And so that's when, and that is how the bigger, older, wiser part of me can now step in and say, how can I get this need met in a way that is healthy, that is mature, and that honors all parts of myself. This is why it is so important to allow ourselves to be messy, to get messy, to allow all our messy emotions to come and be part of the picture, because all those emotions are carrying really important messages and insights into what our emotional needs are in that moment. And so that we can when we learn to listen to those emotional needs, then we can actually meet them in new ways. So I hope this video has given you the permission to get a little bit messy, that will give you the permission to hold on to those wonderful, beautiful affirmations, onto that positive thinking, while also being able to hold onto those more messy aspects of your emotions, to allow it all to be part of the picture. It's not one or the other. It's all a big gray area. We are so complex. We have to allow ourselves to sit in ambivalence about all the different aspects of ourselves that are sitting at the table, right? It's really about allowing, what picture comes to mind is that those big family dinners when the kids are like, creating a mess, and the parents and adults are trying to have a intense political conversation, and the older people just kind of want to be quiet and sit back and watch. So allowing all those parts of yourselves to be at the table. It's not going to be the perfect picture that you ever want it to be. And that's okay. Just allowing yourself to be all that you are in the moment. Having that permission, just giving yourself permission. Permission is something that's so simple, yet it can be so hard for us to give ourselves. The first step is just to being able to let go of this need to be perfect, this need for everything to follow this one system that you may have been taught by somebody else, where someone might have told you, in order to get there, do this. Which cuts off all the other parts that are kind of trying to get through and be part of the picture. It's all part of the picture. The first step towards being able to transform and to come into new relationships with all the different parts of yourself is allowing them to come to the table and being part of the conversation, as messy as it is. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you soon.